good afternoon. It's Monica from Life is Art, and this is the Sunday 3:30 demo at the Garden Friends online crop. We are winding down. We have posted now all of the challenges. I apologize, they were late this morning. Facebook was not being kind. If it was getting a report card from a teacher, it would say, does not play well with others. So the challenges were a little late this morning, but if you hadn't seen them before, they're there now. And what else? Oh, we have only one more game to go. Almost all the games have been posted. And so for those of you who are hoping to get as much done as you can before the end of the weekend, just keep in mind that the deadline for getting things done is midnight tonight or 9:30 in the morning tomorrow. If you're the kind of person who likes to stay up late and get things done or get up early, you have a little extra time. Hey, Heather, nice to see you're watching. Hey, Kimberly. Everybody's finding the live video. And so I have my all-purpose mat on my table here. That means we're going to be doing something. And I hope you noticed the title of the video was Repurposing. So we're going to do a little bit of stenciling. And let me just pull out my catalog here. We're going to be looking at one of the stencil packs that we were looking at before, stencil pack number 1, and specifically this stencil right here on the end. We're going to be looking at that one. We are also going to be using the blending brushes, which are like my new favorite thing. So exciting. We're also going to be looking at something that was featured last month. It was the featured collection from last month, which is Backyard Bliss. Sorry, not Backyard Bliss. That's the one for this month. It was Beach Party. And specifically, we're going to be looking at this stamp and thin cut set, specifically the thin cuts. And this was an idea that was shown by a fellow maker, and for the life of me, my brain has shut down, and I don't remember her name, but I will post it when I post the pictures and everything, and so you'll know who that was that sparked the idea. And the other thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be using something that I created before, and you've all been saying, when are you going to use it? When are you going to show us what you do with it? Hey, Shannon, nice to see you're watching. Jennifer's here. Hi, Jennifer. Who else is here? I see things popping up as I'm talking. Mary's here, and my mom's here. Awesome. Heather says, I'm using Beach Party. Almost done every little piece now. Awesome. I love to hear that. So we're going to be using that thin cut. And what else? I don't think there's anything else I needed to tell you, but I'm just grabbing, I need a piece of paper. So how has your day been going? I know Deborah was joining us from the cottage, and then her internet went out because of the storm that's headed their way. So sadly, she probably won't get on to see this live, but she will watch it later. Sorry, you're hearing ruffling around as I'm looking for something. Well, I'm not finding what I'm looking for. Awesome. I'm looking in the wrong spot. So well prepared am I. Yes, yes, yes. So the thing that we're going to be looking at that you guys have all been asking, well, not all of you, but some of you have been asking, is the page that I showed you with the brickwork that I created using the backward stamping. Hey, Lisa, nice to see you're watching. So the backward stamping, and that's where we took, and so I'm going to pull this in again. That's where we took our stamp set, the Beach Party scrapbooking stamp set, and we used the back side of the beach towel to create this nice big rectangular block. We stamped it in sage, and then we rocked and rolled along the bottom and up the side in the rosemary, stamped it, and then I used markers to just color in between the bricks, and then a little bit of white gel pen to add sort of a little speckly dots on this upper left corner. And so this whole page is kind of coming out of this stamp set and thin cut set, which I think is super fun because we're repurposing, right? Like this is a gorgeous little beach towel, but now we've created a brick wall with it. So if you didn't see that technique video, you're going to want to go back and watch that to see how that was done. And today we are going to be using one of the thin cuts, and it's actually the thin cut that cuts out the big surfboard. Okay, so this nice big surfboard. And I was chatting with some of you during one of our events, maybe it might have been the crop last month, about how one of the makers had used this to create something else other than a surfboard. And so what she did was she took some white daisy paper and she ran it through her die cut machine with that thin cut. And I'm doing this off on the side here as I'm talking. You know, she took it and ran it through, and then she had a nice sort of longish ovally piece of white daisy paper. So I'm taking that same idea, but I'm cutting papaya paper into a long oval like that. And you know what's interesting is when you take one long oval and you put a whole bunch of them together, so many long ovals, you can create some flowers. And so she used white daisy and she did beautiful ink blending on hers, and it just looked entirely gorgeous. She made gorgeous sunflowers. But I'm just making some papaya pretty flowers. Now this is made with not the entire piece of the oval. This is just one little snippet off the end. So what I did was, and I'm going to move these things out of the way for a minute, I took my ovals and I took my scissors and I just trimmed my oval like this because I wanted to be able to create two flowers, a bigger one and a smaller one. And so then I was left with a big piece and a little piece. And then I decided to take my papaya ink and my blending brush, my lovely blending brush. And what I did was just get it nice and inky and then just apply some ink to where it will be the inside of the petal. Just like that. Just kind of make a little bit of shading. And these ones we could do a little bit more on there, adding some ink. I love how easily it is to put ink on stuff with these blending brushes. So I went ahead and I inked up all my little petals like that. And then I decided, oh, I forgot to mention the mix-in paper pack. We're using the mix-in paper pack to create the center for our flower. I'm just grabbing a wipe here because I've got some ink now on my all-purpose mat, and I can just give that a wipe off. Lovely. Okay, so the other thing was the mix-in paper pack has this gorgeous sheet of toffee, sort of textile-y, woven, it looks like fabric, woven fabric, like kind of burlap-y, but a little less texture than that. The backside is beautifully toffee sponged, which is gorgeous, but I thought this texture kind of made a nice center of a flower. So I used my circles thin cuts to create a couple different circles. I cut the middle size one and the next largest one for my two different sizes of flowers. And I may decide that I need more than 2 flowers on this layout, but I'm going to start with 2 because time was short today and I didn't get it all quite done. But I want to show you the photo that I'm going to be using for this layout. And this is a photo of my daughter when she was little, learning how to ride the bike. And this is her great-grandpa here. And he taught all 3 of our kids pretty much how to ride bikes on this little green bike. And he lived next door to the beer store. So there was a nice parking lot that, like on Sunday afternoons, was always empty. And so the kids could ride around the parking lot, and that was awesome. So this is the one that I'm scrapbooking, and I like it because it's got the green in the background that kind of goes with our brickwork. But then a lot of the picture has concrete in it, and I thought that kind of also goes with the idea of bricks. And of course, you can see where I'm getting the papaya color coming in here. And so I also decided to do some matting on this. So I'm going to be using some Sundance to mat this. And I also want to use some black, but I didn't grab it yet. So let me just measure this up because my photo is an odd size. So I want 5.5 by 4 3/8. And let me see, do I have a scrap I can cut? Not quite. Not quite. Gotta love it. Okay, let me just grab a piece of black. Your kids, how did they learn to ride the bike? Did they use the training wheels? Did they take to it very quickly, or was it a slow process? My middle guy, he was pretty fast because he liked anything with wheels. So he would be just try until he got it. And then he was like off like a shot. My oldest did not like that feeling of not being in touch with the ground. And so he, to this day, does not like to ride a bike. He likes to ride the bus, which is okay. So we want 4 3/8. 1, 2, 3 by 5.5. 5.5, yes, 5.5. I knew I had forgotten something. There we go. Alrighty. It's not a party till somebody forgets their photo matting. So let's go ahead. We're going to layer these up and get that part of the layout done. Getting our photo matted. Julia was pretty good about riding the bike, but it took her a long time to get off the training wheels. I think it was actually Joshua who finally got her riding without the training wheels, and then she was good. She was good to go after that. There we go. And the photo too. Do you scrap with weird size photos? The reason this one is a weird size one is because it was actually a landscape photo, but I wanted it to be portrait for this. So it kind of ended up being a weird size. And that happens to me quite often, but I'm okay with that. So there's our photo. Here's the flower that we've completed. And then we need to assemble another flower. So we take all of the little pieces that we have cut and inked. So here's this pile and this pile. And I think it is so cool that you can take a tool that you have, that you purchased, and you can use it different ways. Just like we were learning about that backwards stamping, right? It's so nice when you can find multiple uses for things. And that helps us to actually use our tools so that they're not just sitting around, right? You know, you do 2 layouts that's for beach and then you never look at it again. That's not what we want. We want to be able to use them again and again. So I've got my center, and I actually took a little bit of toffee ink and inked around the edge of my center that I cut with my circles thin cuts. And what we're going to do is, you'll notice I have, these ones are a little bit darker than these ones, and that's because these were cut on the front side of papaya, which is the true color side, and these were cut from the back side, which is a little bit lighter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of arrange them, and I've got 6 petals of each color. So let me kind of see where I am in the center here. So I want to kind of arrange them around my flower, sort of symmetrically, because they'll look better if they end up in sort of the right place. Okay, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the front of the petal, just a strip right at the bottom. like that, and tuck it under and stick it down. Looks like a propeller of an airplane right now. An old airplane propeller. But I like doing the pale side first, because I always figure if you're layering up, then the petals that come later will be a little bit darker because they're in behind. They're tucked in behind. So we're starting with the light side of papaya with the beautiful inking. Rose is still using training wheels. I love training wheels. I don't know how kids did it before there were training wheels. It just makes life so much easier with training wheels, right? We all need a little helping hand when we're learning new skills. Hey, Judy, nice to see you're watching. Oh, and he's out of the training wheel phase. Connor never learned. Yep. Yeah, see, my oldest son, hey, Sue, he's not going to be a bike rider. It's just, he's never going to. My Joshua, he also liked to try the skateboard, but he never really used it like a skateboard. He sat on it or laid on it on his stomach and like went down hills on it that way. He was a little bit of a daredevil that way, just going down the hills at the park and things, but never really got much use out of it as standing up like you would normally do on a skateboard. It just wasn't happening, but he loved it. And then of course later on, you know, bicycles and scooters, and he had a mini bike that he restored and got running, and he also had a moped that he was restoring. He had ambitions of being a mechanic. So there we've placed our 6 petals, and what I kind of did is I added 3 and then the other 3 so that they're kind of evenly layered. So these 3 are on top, these 3 are behind, and then we're going to go around and we're going to add the darker ones in between. So we're going to have a flower with a double petal, and I know there's a particular name for that. If Shannon's watching, she'll know what it's called, or anybody else who's watching, where they're double layers of petals. I know roses can be like that too, like double roses, or I don't know. I'm not very much into horticulture. But I do know that this would be considered a daisy because of the way the petals are. Because daisy is not a specific kind of flower, it is a shape of flower. So this would be like a daisy flower. At least I'm sure. I'm pretty sure. Wouldn't take my word for it. And so we're just tucking those in, evenly spaced around. Now you could also add green things in here to act like little leaves. I'm going to just stick with the flowers and petals and not worry about leaves. We're keeping this as a very sort of clean, at least so far. You never know. 2 days from now, I might add a whole bunch of stuff to it. But for today, we're going to leave it kind of as a very clean layout. And our last petal, tucking it under there like that. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. There we go. And let's bring in our layout. Oops, I've got stuff stuck to the bottom of it. So now here's where we have to decide what's happening, because this is a large, large flower, okay? And you remember one of our challenges is to use something really large. So this is something that you could do as one of those large items, right? Hey, Ina, nice to see you're watching. Hey, Robin. And so let's just kind of play around here for a minute. There's a good chance that I'm going to end up trimming a bunch of this off and then maybe adding it over here, which I think I might do. I might kind of add it like this and then add some of this back over here so I kind of get 3 flowers without actually being 3 flowers, you know. I don't want to go too high because that's where we're going to do our stenciling. So let's go ahead and add this flower here. I'm going to just flip it right over on the side so that I can add my adhesive and hopefully get it in the spot I want it. And like most things, I'm not going to add too much right at the edge because I want to be able to tuck some stuff under there if I decide in the future I want to add leaves. And also because you can get some dimension that way, right? You can lift those petals up and have it be a little bit dimensional, right? You can even curl them if you wanted. You can do all sorts of fun stuff. You could put a little bit of foam under some of these, which, oh, that would be kind of fun. Let's do that. We'll kind of curl them and add a little bit of foam. Well, that one's kind of stuck down, but we could add a little bit of foam that way. Let's do that. Look at that. Getting ideas as we're working. There we go. Just a little square of foam right there. That's all it needs. Just a little bit of dimension. Let's grab another one. Whoops. Getting foam stuck all over me. Let's grab this one that we already stuck down. We'll lift it back up. And stick a piece of foam under there. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. And then we can have it curl back down like that. And we'll grab one over here. And give it a little bit of a curl. Stick a foam under it like that. And then this bottom one, give it a little bit of a curl. It's not making a lot of dimension, but it's a little something something just for fun. There we go. Nice. Okay, now we need to flip it over because we got to trim this excess off. And everybody says, why'd you make a big flower and then cut it up? It's because we're going to use it. We will use it. And the other thing is, I don't know about you, but I have done things like this before where you make a big flower and you're like, oh, I'm only going to put it on the side. And so you do half a flower and it never looks right because you didn't make a whole one. So nothing seems to be aligned the way it should be because you didn't line it up like you were making a whole flower. You know, you end up making like a fan and it's never quite right. So it's always better to make the whole thing and then move it around. And see, now I could take this and add it up here to get some of that florally goodness going up there and have that in behind the photo and then add another little one down there like that. And you see how that kind of extended it? So now I do have 3 flowers, just like that. Easy peasy. Lovely. Okay, before I go too much farther though, I need to bring in my stencil. And where did I put my stencil? Here we go. Here's the stencil that I want to use. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stencil the title. There's a little title here that says, Hello, Sunshine. And so that's what's going to get stenciled right on here. And I've got a little fuzzy. And so now that I know where my photo's going and where my flower's going, I can get that lined up. So there we go. And this is actually going to be really fast to stencil this because we're going to use 2 colors. We're going to be using papaya and we're going to be using Sundance. So we're going to start with the Sundance because you always want to kind of start with the lighter color first. So there's our Sundance. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the Sundance right in the center. Right in the center like this. In a nice big circle, like a sunny sun. Hello, sunshine. And that is done. And then we're going to bring in the papaya. And I wanted to add that in there because I think it will just look good with what's happening with the flowers. It's always fun to do things one-handed. So we're going to grab some papaya ink And we're going to go around the edge. We're going to come in from the edge and add papaya all the way around for a nice little sort of sunrise or sunset color happening. All the way around. And they'll kind of blend one into the other. Oh, so fun. Hello, sunshine. I think that's probably the quickest and easiest title I've ever done on a layout. Look at that. Hello, sunshine. I love it. So fun. Okay, now we can go ahead. We can add our flower along the edge here. Oops. Bouncing around. There we go. And I want it up a little bit, but not too far up. Oops. Now I got a little bit of white showing. There we go. And yes, we will do the same thing. We'll give this one a little bit of a curl. Grab a foam. I'm not going to see a lot of it because the photo is going to go here, but we'll do it anyway. And then we'll also add some foam on our photo to pop it up as well. And I'm not even looking at the comments. Oh, Sue is thinking of all sorts of flowers that have these kind of petals. Yes, there are oodles of them. In the shape of it, I'm pretty sure this is what I've been informed of. The shape is what makes it a daisy shape rather than a kind. I mean, everybody typically says, oh, look, there's a daisy, and it's the typical white, white flower with, a yellow center or a yellow flower. And yeah, sure, it's a daisy, but it has more to do with the shape. All right, we're adding some foam tape to the back of our photo. We're getting down to the end of the roll. We have a store around here called End of the Roll. They sell carpeting and flooring. There we go. Let's remove the backing. Oh, I already did that one. When your finger sticks to it, you know you've already done it. And all the way around. Now, if I wanted to go and do some crazy mixed media on this, I could do some splattering. I could use some of the Gilt acrylic spray and add that in. Let me see. I want to go up a little bit high and right about there, I think. Maybe a little bit closer to the title. That's why I'm only just setting it down. Just gingerly setting it down, because once that foam tape sticks, boy, you're not getting it off. And then this guy, I'm going to have it completely on here. So this one, I can go ahead and do that, give it a little bit of a curl just with my fingers. You can use your bone folder for this. Give it all the petals a little lift and curl. I mean, this is not hard technique by any stretch. There are lots of techniques for making very gorgeous layered flowers that are a lot more elaborate than this. Okay, and then we want to add some foam behind this. And I'm actually going to add 2 layers of foam because our photo had a single layer. And so this one, we're going to pop it up with 2 layers. So the way I do that is I put 1 layer down, and then I put a second layer down, and remove the backing of this one, and add a second layer on that one. There, now it's double thick. It's like a double stuffed Oreo. A double thick flower. There we go. And have it kind of off the side a little bit. Lovely, so fun. Now, I've got some bling over here, and I was trying to decide what bling I was going to use, and I'm starting to think that I probably actually, do I want to use sequins? I'm thinking I want to add a few black dots just to carry in this black frame. So I've got my black enamel dots. Let me just grab my piercing tool so I can lift some of these. And we're going to add these on around and about. Let's add a couple here. Like that. And maybe one up here. Hello, sunshine. So fun. It's nice if you're pulling in a color that's not there originally, like the black wasn't anywhere else, to have an embellishment somewhere that pulls on that one as well. And then let's add a couple little guys over here. And then maybe one over here, just because. And I'm trying to think. I was looking at the sticker sheet from Backyard Bliss. And so some of these embellishments are in these lovely colors. I have this one that says, "Do all things with love." We've got Dig in the Dirt, but that's not going to work with this. Grow Giggles, that would be kind of cute, but I don't think that really works with our layout. We've got this one that says Happy Little Moments, and that might be really cute on there as well. So let's give it a go. Let's take a look and see what we think. Happy Little Moments. Sometimes I always have to kind of move things around and see where I like things. No, I'm not feeling that one. Nope. What else? Do you guys always have a great idea in mind? Or do you tend to just look at your things and then decide, okay, what's going to go with this? What's going to go with that? I tend to do both, and but it usually takes me a while to get to what I want, right? So let me see. I'm just looking at my stamp set, and I think I'm going to add the Summer Fun sentiment from this stamp set. We've got Keeping Cool by the Full Pool. We have this Summer Fun, and I think that's what I'm going to add on here. Hello, Sunshine, Summer Fun. And let me just scooch this out of the way. I'm going to flip it over to the back side, and this is not my pretty one. So you're looking at the not so pretty side. I'm going to use a bigger block. There we go. Pick that up. And I think we will kind of do a little bit of mix and match with these two colors again. Or we could do black. What do you guys think? I'm going to do a poll here. Should I stamp this in two-tone Papaya and Sundance, or should I stamp it in black? Let me know to do this Summer Fun right here. We'll take a quick poll. Kimberly says black. Kimberly says, well, she looks at it and decides it takes me forever. Yes, that's the problem. It takes forever. Jennifer says black. Sue says black. All right. 3 answers, all the same. Good choice, ladies. So we're going to grab our Intense Black. And now this is always the trick, is to get this lined up, because I've already die cut it. That's one thing that I do when I have die cuts that I cut ahead of time. I tuck them in the envelope with the stamps, and that way when I'm doing a project, I can just quickly grab one. I don't have to pull out my die cut machine and do all the things required to have it stamped, right? Ina says black. Yay! All right. Oh, that didn't go 100%, but that's okay. It's good enough. We can tidy it up a little later if we feel it needs it. Summer fun. All right, we're going to pop this one up as well. Let me grab some of these fun little guys. I like using the foams out of these foam and acetates for the shaker cards before I use the outside ring for an actual shaker card. Ooh, a shaker would be fun on here. Because it makes it a lot easier to get the ring out and to do it that way. So let me I need to trim one of these, make it a little thinner. Wouldn't it be nice if it was that easy for us? Make me a little thinner. Ta-dum. There we go. Lots of foams on there. We're going to pop this up. Summer fun. I like those new stencils that we have in the core catalog. There's some really fun things in there. There's the Explorer that's a bunch of layers. There's a birch tree that's a couple layers. There's waves. There's so many fun things. The one that's like kind of all travel, sort of map lines and things like that. Really fun. So we've got summer fun. I'm going to kind of put it right down at the top of that brickwork, I think. I might move it later, but that's where it's going to sit for now. So there we go. That is our layout in its simplest form. It may get a few extra things, but there we've used our brick wall created using the backwards stamping technique. 2 layers of ink, a little bit of gel pen, and then created a whole wall across the bottom. Then we used the Beach Party thin cut from the surfboard to create these gorgeous long ovals to make flowers. How cool is that you can multi-purpose those kinds of tools? And we even trimmed off the extra bits to make a smaller flower, used our circles thin cuts, we used our mix-in papers to create the centers, lots of inking on there, and then using that stencil pack number 1 title here to create this Hello Sunshine with Sundance and Papaya, stamping out from the summer beach party again, making a summer fun one, and adding in some black enamel dots. How cool! I hope you guys enjoyed seeing what I did with the background that I created using that backward stamping technique. Hope you guys have a great afternoon and good luck with all of your challenges and creating today. And we will see you again tonight at 7 o'clock for our chat and craft. Toodaloo! Bye!